So, you know that picture from public teachings? I think it was shown 2-3 weeks ago. The light itself is a light which does not hurt. It does not hurt in your eyes. A lot of pictures appeared in Facebook and in other platforms where they showed lights, all of them. And even here is a percentage of matter included, which means it's still, out of my feeling and understanding, it's still not pure plasma light, because here in this example you see some legs, and on the top you see some sticks inside. These are nano-coated copper wires. Not all of them are connected. Some of them are used just to keep the ball stable. But inside there is only nano-coated material. The ball is nano-coated inside. The electrodes, the anodes and cathodes, the nano-coated wires are nano-coated. Of course, as I already said, nano-coated wires are nano-coated, so the wires are nano-coated. And the nano-coating needs to be really very, 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 very strong. As also Rodrigo often repeats, even with the ganses, it would be good having a nano-coating 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And also the way he's doing is differs a bit to the way from the foundation. And Rodrigo gets a beautiful nano-coating with his way of doing it. So the most important thing is having inside the ball not a single part of matter. And as we see here, it is at this moment of the picture, the whole ball is lighting, because the barrier is the matter state around, is the outside matter state, is the matter state outside the ball, I would say it like this. And inside this ball, there was a little spark igniting the plasma, igniting the ganses inside, which then lighted up. And the color of it is just that you recognize it. The real plasma light color is silver white, and the ones we know from electric lights, they don't have this silver shiny touch, which means you can easily distinguish if it's a plasma light or if it's a light which comes from a spark without any nano-coated material. And if you have I don't have the video here now because this is a scene of a video. If you look at the video of it, you see very often there is a spark which has another color, which means goes more into the reddish orange color, and these are the parts of electric energies, electric sparks inside. And so what we see here is most probably exactly at this moment, mainly pure plasma light. But as a whole in this experiment, it was a mixture of plasma and also electric spark light. And the fields around are amazing. What I experienced in the last weeks and months working a lot with the fields of the units and the light. For me, the outcome, the results, the most important thing is to be able to distinguish, to feel the fields with the hands. And it is possible very quickly to feel the flow, and to feel the difference between ganses, to feel the difference between magnetic and gravitational, and especially as soon as we are talking about the light and strong fields, we are talking about neutrino wind, we are talking about the wind. And the wind is one of the most beautiful feelings I ever had in my life. The wind is a physical wind, which you feel on the surface of your skin. It is like if you feel a wind outside in the environment, and this is also really a physical wind, but it's created by field, by the difference of, let's say, two parts of two ganses, which have a huge difference in the ratio. So when there is a strong flow from one gans to another gans, you feel the wind between them. And as soon as you feel the wind, you know it is a sign that you created such a strong ratio between two parts, between two ganses, that you are close before lighting up the plasma, before igniting the plasma and establishing the light. And the wind out of the feeling, it is for me like a soul, which is like the universal soul, which is touching you. It's like opening. We often using the words opening a space gap through this strong ratio. And if you open this gap and you feel the wind, yeah, I would say you feel home. It's a good comparison, feeling home. And of course, inside these fields, there is such a quick balancing energy through your body that I first time in my life since I heard Mr. Cash talking, understand that it's completely, and feel that's completely correct if he says already years ago, we once gonna build a unit where we just walk through and after 1 or 2 seconds it's done. Because if you are inside these fields where the light is established, and the light only establishes if these strong fields are occurring, then the first time I realized it can be done what Mr. Kesh already said years ago. And of course, what is much more beautiful if you establish not only one light, more or less trapped in this is a trapped light. I mean, I don't want to say that this light is sad and feels trapped. Every plasma entity has always the desire, the big desire to establish, to grow and to be stable in the matter state. So this I at least observed. But in terms of having a free flowing light, this one is trapped because it's trapped in a acrylic ball, in a simple 20 cent acrylic ball. By the way, establishing the light has nothing to do with any costs anymore. This is the other the crazy situation. The more we go into this topic, the less money we need to establish it, and this fits together for me. This is something which fits. It's not that we need hundreds of thousands of equipment and laboratories equipped with the most expensive devices. Establishing the light, and this is maybe something we also can talk about it when you can remember. There is one teaching when Mr. Kesh said, okay, you just need your left and right hand and you establish the light between. Okay, good. We feel that this is possible. We know that this is possible. And seeing the light created by, let's say, the help of ganses, the ratio of ganses by the help of nano-coated material helps us to come to this state to be able to do this. But currently, maybe one of you is already able to do it. I'm not. And I nearly every day in the morning I wake up and I see what's that kind of filter inside myself. It is, I saw the light now, this beautiful silver light, and there is a communication immediately going up. Why am I not able to establish the light between my hands? And this is something which drives me sometimes crazy, because I know it's just these filters we're always talking about. But here we are exactly at the point of, are we still talking about anything, or are we already able to do and to act? And I think I just can talk about myself. Maybe the one or other finds him or herself in the words I'm trying to communicate. Years ago, even months ago, I just repeated a lot of knowledge which I heard from Mr. Cash, from other parts, from knowledge seekers. And I was not really living and acting like this, what I was talking. And maybe this is a standard path for all of us to getting to know, in this case, the plasma technology, by talking about it first. But I made also private teachings, but this is already, I guess, a year or longer ago. And in these teachings, I said a lot of things which I read in the books, I heard from Mr. Cash, but I was not able to live them, and I was not able to establish them. And after a certain time, I realized this, and I couldn't say a word anymore in any teaching, because I felt I'm saying something what I'm not able to live and to do. And this was, for me, this was a very, I could even say, brutal phase of my life, because I realized that this is important for myself and also for my soul. As soon as we talk about our soul, it becomes already different and difficult, because if we're talking about our soul, and if we say we are connected with our soul, are we really connected with it? And these are all these questions which came up again when the light was established first time. It was a communication, a question answer game, and a kind of saying and seeing, oh, wow, this really exists. This is really existing. This kind of light is really existing, and we can establish it here on Earth, and it can help us, it supports us, it gives us answers, and we can connect with it. And I heard not hundreds and thousands, but 2 or 3 times a specific part of a teaching when Mr. Cash talked about the light. And the light in ourselves. Whenever Asa is talking, I'm just, even if I'm closing my eyes, this is the feeling there is a massive burning light talking about different topics. And I think we switch from month to month more to this kind of communication, because no one is above and no one is below anyone. And we all carry the same light. And this light is in ourselves. And what we are establishing, if we're talking about the next version of the ball unit, as a field unit or as a light unit, if we are inside, it just reminds us to what is burning in ourselves and how we connect with ourselves. And this started for me a complete new level of thinking about myself and what we are created out of. So I stop talking now. Maybe there's something.
Klaus, you is great because you know when you think about it, I mean, this is something is so tangible for me now. It wasn't before. You see, when they say treat your enemy as if yours or you know neighbor, all the stuff we said that we held in scriptures, all the prophet, everything, but it's just never tangible. But now, if you look at the life, when you look at life, or we call it soul, life is one life. The whole cosmos in the planet Earth, one life. So our physicality as me, you, a lion, a little worms, an insect, an ant, just we took that life, we create that physicality around that life. So that's why, you know, we are one life. I mean, you can say this is my body and this is my mind. I can say this is my body and my mind, but I captured that part of life and put it in this, entrapped it in this body, and you did the same thing. So practically everything is so, and actually it's a tapestry of this magnificent life is so magnificent. I mean, just the trees, but we've been walking around unconsciously without even attending, because even you sit next to somebody who's talking about, okay, I hate this guy. The guy is breathing out and you're breathing in something that he breathed out. How can we hate somebody who we just, our life depends on it? Or a tree, we walk out by the trees or by an insect or ant, not even understanding, like, I mean, if it wasn't for this little thing, I wouldn't even be here, because it's so entanglement of everything together. I mean, if you just simply understand it, the feeling of it is spectacular. I mean, none of us actually, I mean, at least I know I still don't live. Because, you know, when they say, when you talk about this light, can Mr. Cash talk about you go inside this machine and you can come out without any problem. There's a guy who became enlightened in India. The minute he got enlightened, first of all, his own body changed, his face changed, his everything changed about him. Even people who passed by him, any diseases they had, they all got cured. It's the same thing, it's the same light. But none of us have gotten to that place. But each of us, if we understand our own potential, because each of us, inside of us, the life within us is the same. There's no different. There's the soul, the same. But outside, each of us have different capabilities. And if we understand our capabilities ourselves, we are geniuses in whatever we come up with. None of us actually show our geniuses, who we are. We're all trying to follow what the other person doing, or even you look at the way the university teaching students. That's why not even 1% of humanity showing the potential. Only less than 1%, but this is who we are. We just magnificent beings. But now we just, if we get it and we can pass that message to people, it's going to be incredible planet we're going to have. But this, as you said, this is, I mean, when I feel it, when I walk now, I can see a separation between the body, my mind, and when I walk, I can walk with ease. But I can tell you this, I still have this mask of persona that I created for myself, that I walk with this mask, because you can have a mask, but it shouldn't be glued to your face. Because once you remove that mask, you can live and, you know, breathe and live your life freely. And I'm still working on it, but as I said, living life itself, which is within us, that's so much, so beautiful. That's incredible.
Thanks a lot. Yes. Getting to know plasma technology because we currently have the topic. It was also in a public teaching, so I can talk about it. I always have to be so careful what to talk about. But this, Mr. Cash said, in a public teaching, this university in I guess it's Brazil or somewhere around this area, which will offer, I guess from next year on, courses, seminars for plasma technology. Whenever I think about this from my perspective on, from my point of view, the most important thing is whoever would like to learn anything about plasma technology needs to feel something first. And no one should step in the dark like a lot of us did just by the first time believing others that it's working. And we have a lot of beautiful instruments. The last one, I can show you a picture of it. It was done by a colleague of mine, and he did a beautiful work just with nanocoating. He nanocoated a piece of copper, but not only once, several times, and he always polished it between. So he nanocoated, the layers grew, then he GANS coated it, then he polished it, then he nanocoated it again, GANS coated, polished. He needs for such one piece 2-3 months. And if you have two of these parts, circuits, rings in your left and in your right hand, and you come closer, about 5-6 centimeters, you really feel you feel how these fields are interacting physically. You feel it physically. And when I touch this nanocoated copper, which mostly consists out of nanocoated surface, in polished nanocoated surface, you even see yourself inside, like in a mirror. Interesting picture. If you look inside, you see some, you see and feel even something else if you look into this nanocoated polished mirror. And this is a tool, I think, if someone has in its hand, there are no doubts, no questions anymore how this technology is working, how this technology is compressing, trapping energies, and how the field flows. And if you have it in your hands, left and right hand, you do nothing then practice with it. You place it between your knees and you feel immediately the flow between your knees. You place it between your head and you feel how your left and right brain half just jumping. And this is something we need to focus on, because some of us, I guess, still, I mean, in the medical, it's not a problem, because in the medical, we very quickly have results with people we are working with all the standard procedures we developed, like drinking ganses, applying patches, rotating ganses. We very quickly see results. In other parts, people who are not dealing only not dealing in the medical part, who just would like to come nearer, get to know, dig deeper in plasma technology, they don't have these quickly results, maybe also in the area of health, in the family or friends. But these kind of devices, or a really working maggraph, which has such a strong field that you can even use this maggraph as a copy machine, like we have with our field copy machine, the banana thing Mr. Cash talks about. Really huge a good built MAGRAPH or such a several times nano-coated and polished a piece of copper. These are the things. If people have this in their hands from the first day on, let's say in a lecture at the university, they are picked up. And everything else, they would like to know, they start following their instinct. They start connecting with any devices we have in the room, like a MAGRAPH. MAGRAPH was just stamped and treated as an energy saving device, but that really working MAGRAPH is building up a space gap which is opening up and creating between two MAGRAPHs. This is why Mr. Kesh always talked about cascading beside each other, two MAGRAPHs beside each other, one as a load of the other one. Really good build, create a space gap, and between you feel the neutrino wind, the wind between, and then you know that the space gap opened. So this is the original reason why Mr. Kesh brought these MAGRAPHs to us, to stay in the fields, to learn from the fields, and to always come closer to, let's say, to the space gap, to an environment where we come closer to the fields and to the lights, which means closer to ourselves. And I'm really starting since months rethinking everything in the last years we did and we went through. And this is, as he also said, this is the beginning, and everything we did till now was really hard pioneer work from all of us. And I think that there is this hard work from everyone, from all the ones who are coming now. They will have it easier, much easier, because we have developed all together beautiful knowledge and also devices, physically devices we can touch and we can feel something and we can connect with, and this makes the more or less the connection from the matter state up to the light, and then we feel connected, and then we can start working with this technology. Interestingly, a lot of problems and lies are coming up when you're near the space gap, near the light. We always say, light has no mercy. So whatever we try to hide comes up to the surface. And this I felt so massive. Oh, I don't want to tell you all the stories here. It's too private, but I think you know and feel what I mean when I say there are coming up so many things from the past, from the present, lies you placed, consciously placed, and I can really just summarize that everything comes to the surface. Like if I'm listening now to the teachings 1, 2, 3 years ago when Mr. Kesh talks not about the light, but everything he talks about when he's in his public teachings, and when he talks about it is connected, then every single word fits so 100%. that a lot of us maybe never thought that in these teachings every word can be so placed perfectly and 100%. But from time to time we just realize and we learn and learn, and we adopt and dig deeper, and we realize that these words of him, they came from the light, and that they just are as they are. I mean, we are all humans, have our patterns running, have the mixture with the ego and everything. That's normal. I'm talking about the pure knowledge which Mr. Kesh transfers in the public teaching. And if you go back 2 or 3 years, even in the medical teaching, we just see it from a different perspective, in a different light. We see it, we see it in a different light now, what he's talking about. And I see 2019 now, we have end of 18. This is just a date, but we always try to connect it with something. And I know we have different new years, even here in these teachings. The new year doesn't start at the 1st of January. We have different in Chinese, in the Arabic world and everywhere. But however, the next periods, let's say it like this, they will be in this light, in this perspective. And there is an interesting shadow in the light. I need to dig deeper here, but there is, when the light is on, when the light is shining, there is a shadow around and inside the ball, if it's not completely ignited everywhere. And this must be something like a twin. Maybe this is a connection to twin soul, but I can't talk more about this because I don't have more knowledge about this. I just observed it. There is a very interesting shadow in when the plasma light is on, especially if it's not ignited fully. It's inside the ball, and something tells me, I think Mr. Kesh talked about already too, that this has something to do with a kind of twin soul, because this is a soul. What we see here, this is a living entity, and you feel that this is a living entity. And this is not just like all these movies, like we see, oh, the aliens and everything. This is the pure light, and it is just here and waiting for communication, and waiting for us to connect, and just having a look at it and feeling into it. Even at this picture, it is possible, and all the information flows to us, and everything is available. And this is why I'm really looking forward to the next months, when we will slowly go into this topic altogether. And there will be this, I think this is my perspective now, my personal perspective, what I experienced with myself and other people around the active ignited plasma ball. I said before, light has no mercy, and this is my summary. This is my summary of it. And if we say, if plasma technology spreads around the world, then there will be a change. I now understand why. because I felt why. And it even was painful, because if we just keep in mind there is no mercy if this light is up, this is such an energy which just brings everything on the surface, which is not in line, which is not in the flow. And if we just imagine that the light, which basically we all are, spreads around the world, which already has spread because we are already around the world. And if we additionally experience with these lights in order to learn how to deal with ourselves, then the balance is just the next step. That everything comes to the surface is the next step to it. It is it's even a logical, if I may use this word, a logical next step, that as soon as the light is established, the truth comes to the surface, and not a single pattern on Earth or wherever is able to survive besides this light if it's not in balance, if there is too much of sucking energy from others, or if there is too much of spying one each other. It is all impossible, because I mean, it's still possible, but not in this environment. I think there are gonna be new environments. I don't know if there's gonna be planets or other environments where these patterns just replicate, but not around the light. This is impossible. So I understand now why this powerful technology has the huge potential of bringing peace to this earth, and all the other entities who are not willing or able to adopt, they have to do something. I don't know which possibilities they have, but I mean, we know which possibilities they have. They can, as we say, evolve. They can just connect with the light, or they need to create their own environment somewhere else, because it's painful for them. It is really painful.
And Klaus, did you see yourself in the center of the light?
Did you say if I saw myself in the center of the light?
Yeah.
I felt you feel very connected with it, and it can only be a mirror for ourselves. This is my personal feeling, because you feel like being in a mirror, and maybe this is the reason why, when the light is established, and we already saw some pictures from other sources, it sometimes establishes only for 1 or 2 seconds. Happened also here the first time. I thought, okay, 1 or 2 seconds, why not longer? But then it came to the surface. Okay, I know why. It just appeared for 1 or 2 seconds, because when I look into it, this is like a boom, a huge avalanche of emotions is overrunning you, and more or less that's all you can digest in these 2 seconds. And
if you a lot of you, if you feel yourself in the center of this light, some of you are gonna get demented, some of you are gonna deny existence, and some of you are gonna get elevated. So I understand what he's talking about, because we all gonna face our own truth, and then and if we cannot stand our truth, who we are, then of course any of those happen. But I was wondering if you felt you being at the center of the light.
Not directly as you're saying it now. it was not like I see myself in the center. It was more or less, oh my God, what happens here? Uh, Maybe it's a beautiful reaction, like you said, uh, to just see yourself inside, which feels good and which most probably is like you say. But I did not have this exactly this experience what you're just describing. But it can only be a mirror of ourselves, because there is only one light. It can't be different.
Klaus, that's the point. You say it can be only, so it can't be different at all because you determined it.
Yes.
So that's maybe the filter you were looking for. It's not because, I mean, if you cannot imagine anything, or your thinking is about anything, and you cannot go farther, and then you say it can only be like this. So it will only be like this.
Yeah, okay. You're correct. Yes, you are completely correct. But this is out. It's also this light looks so unique and
overwhelming.
Yes.
Yes, but still, it could be. You could be more than be overwhelmed.
Of course.
Explain these things with the human words. When you get to those situations, there's no word that can describe those, what you get in just no words. I mean, no matter how much you want to use the logical mind, explain the situation, you cannot.
Yeah, but Asa, what you said before, I still have it in my mind. What you said, if you look inside the light, you either get, either you elevate, or you get. What did you use? Which phrase you?
Either you get, Mr. K said, either you're gonna get demented. Some of you are gonna get demented. It means go crazy. Some of you are gonna deny existence. Some of you are gonna get elevated.
Okay. Oh, yes, he talked about three possibilities. Yeah, this is how we're gonna deal with this, Asa. So let's say you have the light unit in your practice, and how you're gonna deal with this? You ignite the plasma, you switch on the unit, you ignite the plasma, let's say with 4 light balls, and your patient comes in and you tell him, okay, you now have 3 possibilities.
She doesn't need to say anything, because that's it. The patient comes in and leaves again, happy.
I mean, I think this.
What's gonna happen? When these kind of thing happen, all the rubbish is gonna go away. No rubbish.
Yes.
All the BS is gonna go down. Because all the stuff people build up in their head with stories and everything, all the rubbish is gonna go.
Yeah, I think we won't have this problem with telling them you have 3 possibilities, because this will be this is a selection. This is a self. We ask ourselves, are we ready to go near this device? We feel it, and I think most of us just feel attracted of it. We don't think about we could be demented or crazy or something like this, because we feel already the fields, the warmness, the love, the soul of it. And maybe, we don't know, there are some percentages who say, I never come near this unit and I go away. This is something magic, has nothing to do with me. And they won't even enter the room.
There's going to be a whole lot of people, they don't want to do that, of course. Because this is the thing, because if you truth, who you are and what you are, because when we are not the truth, when we speak are not truth, we always have to do so much work to hold it up. you know, whatever we do in our life, doesn't matter if it's personal, private, anything. If when you are truth, when you walk around, you have nothing to hide. You say what is in your mind, and you just present yourself who you are. You don't have to do any work to hold it up. You know, when people lie, they constantly have to do so much work to hold the lie. When you're the truth, when you're the life itself, when there's no stories in your life, then everything is just pure. Then everything become easy. But when we pretend, when we make up things, or we want to, because some of the stuff we go through even is not in control, because the way you were raised, the way you were, because your physical body actually carries all your ancestral information, plus when you were born, what the parents treated you, what the environment treated you when you went to school, every single impression that you pass by. You know, we might pass through a room, we might hear a noise of a radio, but that single second, 100 different sound is being recorded in our physical body. We don't even notice it because we don't have a perception of noticing of such a thing. So when all these things go through us, we establish this body with so much that we present ourselves, which is not us. The life is so pure, and it's actually that light, which is so beautiful. But we just can remove all those rubbish and allow us to be the life, the light, that light. Which is magnificent. I mean, last time I told the group that I've seen the light when I did the book for Albarios. I mean, I saw the magnificence of the soul and the light and the creator. Just like when Mr. Kesh talked about plasma and the light, it blinds you. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, there's no word, as I said, there's no word to describe this.
I would like to add something strange. Klaus, we have this light already here, but most of us, we cannot yet really see it, but we can feel it already.
Imagine if there are, let's say, 3 of these trapped lights in a star formation. They're gonna occur a light between them. And this, I think, is the next step. Never seen this, never managed this going so far, but it needs to be the next step. And if you say, we feel the light now, you see the light. I think in this second, when we look at this picture, there is a lot of going on in our brain we maybe not recognize, but we open up and remove a lot of filters because we see it and we feel it. And this is what I wanted to say before. If we start teaching, officially teaching, for instance, at universities, we need to let the people from the first day on feel something. And then the whole education goes into another direction. And yeah, Christian, if you just have a look at it, that's it more or less. But of course, we would like, and we will, have these bridges and these helpful tools around us to establish the light outside of our body. And the more lights are established, the more they communicate with each other, and the more free lights between them occur. And in terms of health, like we are meeting here, I don't know what the impact then will be, because
I think doctors will become superfluous. It's like teachers. They all the time, all their life, they work to be not necessary anymore. They teach and teach and teach. And it's like this one as well. I've been waiting for this.
First of all, Christian, every doctor therapist needs to jump into this light for him or herself first.
Yeah, he can, otherwise he cannot have it in his room.
Yes.
It's very simple. And
So,
if you see a light there, then you know, oh, it's okay to go there, but at the same time, you don't need to. And yeah, and if you don't see the light, then you go there and bring it in, maybe.
yeah, maybe some, I just had this funny picture in my mind, a little movie. There is a room, and in the middle of the room, there's a light unit, a lot of lightning bolts, and the doctor who owns this device has trapped it in a room, and his patients come in and he says, just go into the room. I can't be there because I need to open and close the door. I need to wear my glasses and everything to protect. Okay.
This light was created in China, wasn't it? There was a Chinese group created this, yes?
This light was created in a research center
Okay.
outside China.
Okay, and you were there.
Oh, so you're asking all these questions. I don't know if I can answer them.
Okay. because there's no other way. You should have been there, I guess. That's the way you feel, because they affected you that way.
I knew this gonna come, but I didn't say anything what I was not supposed to say.
We can see.
Klaus, can you repeat again how this ball was installed, or set up, this unit?
No,
this
I can't.
Unit? Okay.
Klaus, you're absolutely right in terms of teaching university. We have to step it up in this new knowledge, because if you go to the material world, we're going to create the same thing. I mean, if we start from here, everything is going to fall into place in a right way.
Yeah, at the same time, of course we need to present them a structure, something where we can pick them up. Of course, this is important. But the more material we have in our hands to touch, the easier we can bring them on the plasma path, if we call it like this. It needn't be. I wouldn't start with a classroom for, I don't know, like in universities, 400 people inside, and placing in the middle a huge plasma light. Don't know what happens then. But these nano-coated mirrors or these other tools, just to play with it, it's a beautiful start.
And the nano-coated copper part, which we were talking about, which he polished, how did he polish? I mean, he just rubbed away the nano-coating each time?
No, with a very fine. No, there's if you polish or if you clean glasses, you got a specific. Don't know the English word. It's more fine than a 8,000 sandpaper, and you just polish this in circles, and then you nano coat it again.
But the nano coating is then gone or not, or still there?
It's still there. You break the top surface, you more or less seal it, and then you grow it. You grow on this sealed surface. You grow again the new nano layers.
So, and the effect is that you can put more nano layers on top each other, or what?
Yes, from nano coating to nano coating, they become stronger and stronger. This is the reason why when Rodrigo talks about when you make your ganses, or we all experienced when we make our ganses, depending on the strength of the nano coating, you have a specific speed of your GANS production, or even you can produce 10 times CO2 or some other ganses with one nano-coated plate if it's nano-coated several times.
Mhm.
Even, not even, also Mr. Kesh talked about this, repeating the nano-coating.
But it's still, when it's polished, it's still even stronger.
Polishing is, this is a specific experiment of a person. We do not polish our plates where we make the ganses. This is just this with polishing. This is one direction how you can create a device which is so powerful that you feel it immediately when you place two opposite each other. It's like if you have them 1 or 2 centimeters away from each other. It's like you having magnets in your hand, and you feel the pull between, because the fields are so strong, compressed.
And where's the benefit of it? Only in the strength, or
I just see it as a training tool. And even if you train with another person with 4 such pieces of polished nano coating plates, if you join with another one, you can do a lot of practices together. You come near each other, place, have on each hand you have one of these parts, and you practice with another one, coming closer to each other. You feel attraction, compulsion, and you even can direct energies to a specific part of your body, and the other one tells you you are now focusing on the stomach, you're focusing on the liver, because you feel it. You feel that there is a change, that there is a touch, like a laser beam in the liver or on the knee. And if you don't feel it the first time, you just practice with a friend, or you practice for your own, laying on a bed, using them, pointing to certain parts. And this is, for me, this is a beautiful training tool. The only thing is what's a bit tricky with it, because you need months to create it, and there's about 7, 8, if not more, nano coating surfaces. I mean, I can make it now, but if I would say, Barbara, I send you one, it would take me 3 months to produce them. I mean, it's not much time, because most of the time is in the nano coating. But then it comes out of the nano coating, you GANS coat it, you polish it again, and back to the nano coating. So physical work is, of course, also here, but of course not 3 months. It's some hours. And this is, I mean, if we can make this for ourselves, it would be, of course, the best. I thought about it, talked about with colleagues, saying, shall we try to produce this? But we said them no, because this is how, if we would have 10 orders, yeah, we have to say, okay, if we make we start with a set of 20, it needs 3-4 months until the first are finished. Of course, we could start it. And then after 3-4 months, they are available then. But this can be done much more powerful if we do it ourselves, because we add additionally our amino acids inside the layers and the energy around us. But it's until now, and we don't have any impacts on any diseases or anything. I just see it currently because I got to know of it, and I played with it now for several months. It's a training tool how to feel plasma, how to direct plasma. If you have 2 of them in your hands, you can see them like a mirror. Like every one of them sends out the laser beam in the right rectangle 90 degrees from the plate, and you can touch it directly parts of your own body or of another one. And with the time, if you already are trained to feel the fields, you feel it immediately. You say, what are you doing in my stomach now? Or remove this immediately from my left and right brain half because I'm gonna get crazy. These are the reactions. And if you then know that there is only nanocoating inside and no hidden magnets or electricity or whatever, it's just our magnets, and they amplify our hands. This is more or less an extension of our left and right hand then. And of course, I think the ones amongst you who are trained in working with the hands, with the energy, working on a soul level, whatever level, to transfer or to balance, to process. For them, this would be an amplifier. Interestingly, I only could purchase a very cheap one for 40 euros. You can get these diamond testers on the market. And if such a plate is finished and you place the diamond tester on the surface, it tells you that it is a diamond.
Because when we're gonna learn about this, when we're gonna know all the information?
I think we can do it in the medical teaching. If you like to, I can show it to you. This is nothing which has been developed in any research centers and which needs to have approval because of this and that regulations, and politicians don't know whatever is in the background. This.
You mean making this ball? You want to teach us how to do it? Yes.
Yes, making these plates.
Okay, it's good.
If you like, I can show you once next week.
That's fantastic. I like that. Mm-hmm.
Then you can look into the nano-coated polished plasma mirror. I think it works. Working with the video, and I mean, of course you don't see your face because you see the camera, but maybe you get some impression and some feelings, like having a look at the light of this Christmas tree decoration. I just had a beautiful picture. I mean, this is a Christmas tree is of course connected with a specific religion, but these Christmas trees are cruising around now, and I just thought maybe the real Christmas tree is the one with the real lights, and we don't need the candles, so the balls are lighting. But then we don't need any persons to deliver all the gifts, because these Christmas tree fly from themselves everywhere and are the gifts themselves.
Klaus,
Yes.
the light in this ball, does it, I mean, does it lighten a room if it's dark?
No, not this one. Interestingly, it stops at the end of the ball.
Ah, yeah.
If you have
So
two
it's
of
really
them,
trapped. And if you open the ball,
yes, it would be possible to open the ball, because it's not dangerous inside. But I think the most easier way is having a second ball. And of course, then we could light the room with it.
why? Why it doesn't work with one? Why it does work with the second one?
If you use one in the room, it does not stop exactly at the border of the ball, but it is not like an electric light, at least not with one trapped plasma light. I think if we open it, it will expand. Of course it will expand, and it expands if you open it, but the light, like it was established here, needed dried ganses inside. And through the interaction of the different electrodes, this dried GANS powder would just fly out. And there would be no reaction anymore. So we need to go to the next step of establishing the light in a different way.
Oh.
I mean, it works.
You said with the second one it could be, but it means they interact, and so there will be light go from one to the other ball. Or?
They immediately interact with each other if you give them a possibility to connect with each other. And the possibility, Mr. Cash told it in one of the teachings last week, they need to have a unique fingerprint which connects them with each other. And a fingerprint can be just a GANS, a specific GANS, which is the same in one ball and also in the other ball. And then they have an orientation, they have a connection with each other, they connect with each other, and this is the next step.
Yeah, okay.
It works perfect like it is. So it's again the same topic with the coil unit, ball unit, and whatever unit. So they're all working brilliant. But this, like it is, like you see it here, you can't open because it's filled up about 10% with GANS powder, and it would just fly out when the plasma ignites. The way it is set up here, because there is a loose powder inside. But, you know, Mr. Cash talks about painting the balls. which means painting is the ganses are in a liquid state, but if you paint the gans and you use a brush, for instance, to paint it, you need to mix it with any color, acrylic color or something else, and then you can fix the ganses on the walls, for instance. And you can play with them. This is another tool for learning to deal with ganses, painting with them, making colors. Maybe there are some here who are able to make colors. This is a specific basis for acrylic colors. You can buy this. This is like a cream, and you can mix everything to it to color the cream. Powders, stones, any liquid from vegetables or fruits, and you color then this paste, and you can paint with it with normal brushes. And this is what we also can do now, and this would be also a perfect way how to learn to deal with different ganses. If you make a paint for a CO2 gans and one for zinc, and a green color from CO, and a reddish one from CH3. Maybe you got black ones if you go into H3, H2, and all different other colors till yellow, ochre, if you go into the direction of hydrogen. You receive a lot of beautiful colors and you can paint with them. And then if you just paint on a sheet of paper, let's say circles, inner circle CH3, outer circle CO2, and another circle beside, inner circle CO2, outer circle CH3, and you move your hands above this painting, you feel the fields attract, you feel the attracting and the pulling and pushing of the fields. And if you're not able to do this the first time with, for instance, with these tools of I mentioned before, the nano-coated, several nano-coated surfaces, if you use them additionally as amplifiers, which will give you the ability to feel the fields, which will help you, then you can combine these two techniques, painting with GANs and trying to feel the fields you've painted. I mean, you could, what is also beautiful, just take standard acrylic colors, red, yellow, green, and mix just ganses amongst them and paint with them. This is also a good start. Going into feeling a picture. I mean, imagine you paint a picture only with very powerful GANs colors and hang it on the wall. Or paint 4 pictures, 2 times 2 meters, and paint one with CO2, paint one only with CO2 and amino acids, paint one with CH3 amino acids, one with zinc, and one with CO, and place each picture on one wall. Then you make yourself a copy machine. You have a flow. The fields are cruising in a room, and yeah, that's it feels good. Giovanni showed it with the T-shirt. They applied the ganses on a T-shirt. It's a kind of painting. But we can make this color and paint, for instance, a ball. Much more powerful if you paint one ball, let's say with CO2, strength, let's say 10, which means paint it, let it dry, paint it, let it dry 10 times, and paint one ball only once. Then you have a flow 10 to 1, 2 balls, and they have a hollow core. And feeling into it, what happens? There's a flow between. So this painting and the light, they have a very close connection. And yeah, your microphone is open.
Yeah, I was talking before. Nobody here. Yeah,
Welcome to the club.
Thank you. It's the guns then, if it's connected with a paint, with an acrylic paint, or if is it then fixed there or more stable, or will it lose its power after some time in the picture?
I don't think so.
I mean, acrylic is not really a natural stuff.
Yes, it's a kind of filter, you're correct, but you know, these ganses are suns.
Yeah.
They don't care about the acrylic.
No,
thing.
but what I was thinking is it would maybe a good idea to paint a certain room, for example, the sleeping room or the dining room. The dining room, of course, with CH3 guns.
Of course, but there you don't.
To paint
Yeah.
the walls,
Yeah.
put it in there, and whether it's realistic, I could mention that it's really good. I mean, especially for hospital rooms.
Yes, we've done this several times. If you have a room where you have any unit inside, and you don't need to have your acrylic color. Just take the color with which you paint the room, and add additionally whatever you like: CO2, 100 milliliter, 200 milliliter of CO2 sediments to let's say 30 kilo of color. Mix it up and steer it. If you have listened to when Mr. Cash in the medical teaching, I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago, he mentioned the way of creating a strength between different ganses by mixing it. So if you have your color, let's say 20 kilo, and you add 200 milliliter of CO2 flux to it, and you divide it into 2 parts, and you mix one part, let's say 10 minutes, and the other part 1 minute, then you have a ratio between 2 walls, for instance. Mm-hmm. Or the other possibility would be you mix everything in one container and you paint one wall twice, so 3 times, and the other one only once. Then you have a beautiful flow.
Mm-hmm.
And if you add certain ganses, and if you create a flow, I don't think you need any devices inside. You just need a bed in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Imagine you manage it to also paint the ceiling and the floor. If you just roll out the sheet of plastic and paint the sheet of plastic, then you create yourself an amazing room of relaxation.
And what is it, because of the gravitation, is there more strong in the bottom of the room? So what should be there, is supposed to be there? Which one?
I think a good combination would be just if you paint everywhere a mixture of CO2 and CH3. and all walls don't distinguish a bottom or top. But
then the flow, there don't need to be a flow because they're sending all from each side. They're sending.
yes, there is a storm in the room then, I guess.
Yeah, interesting.
But if you want to
but
make it more neutral, just use CO2 in sync. You know, with CH3, it's always the thing. Is there anything else growing inside your body?
Yeah, but this, I think it depends on my on my intention. When I want the CH3 only to strong the diminished part and not the cancer, so I could direct the energy or not.
Yes, definitely. But most of the cases, people are so in fear that they are not able to do this at this stage of their disease. This is what I observed.
Okay, so what then is the best guns for enlightening the fear that it appears by itself?
What against for enlightening the fear?
That it disappeared by itself, yeah.
Then make a gans of your fear.
Yeah, but the fear is not only in one part. I mean, it's in different fields mostly.
You know, if you just in for a room.
No, I'm not talking about the room in this case.
Okay. We are away from the room now. Okay.
Because that's a general thing. If I don't have fear anymore, then I will not